another day, another edition of Inside Cowboys Training Camp, driven by Ford here from Oxnard, California, alongside Haley Sutton. I'm Kyle Yeomans. As Cowboys Training Camp continues their second padded practice now in the books, and there's a lot to go by, especially when you look on that defensive line. Haley, there's a lot of excitement around the guys up front.
Yeah, it's definitely a situation of riches in that defensive line, and Mike McCarthy talked about it as well. He said he's never had defensive line depth the way he has right now, so it's just exciting to see these guys really back in their element, showing that physicality that this Dallas defense is known for.
He's also talked a little bit about the fact that, well, he is the offensive coordinator, so it's tough going up against that defensive line depth. But really, overall, this is a team that is getting better every day whenever practices come along, because you've got that iron sharpens iron mentality of the offensive line may not be your strongest point, but your defensive line certainly is making them better.
Yeah, you can tell that Mike is subtly trying to say, we know our defense is good. The offense is trying to get there as well. But as you mentioned, that iron sharpens iron quality, I think, is the best part about this year's training camp, is that the defense is really setting the tone. We saw that last season as well. But now the offense has the weapons to kind of match that. So it'll be interesting to dive into those matchups a little bit more as this week goes on.
And we're going to get into more red zone work as practice goes along, more reps for that offensive line, a young offensive line, which we'll talk about in a couple of moments. But we do want to talk about some of the injuries on that defensive front. Couple edge rushers going down. Dorrance Armstrong out for a couple of days. Sam Williams left practice on Monday, but it looks like he's going to get back in the fold.
Yeah, Sam actually walked right past myself and Isaiah Stanback, who will join us in the next segment. And so we were actually watched him go off of the field. It sounds like it's not anything too serious. I believe it's a shoulder injury, but he was back out at practice today doing some individual work. So good to see it back. Obviously, you want to be precautionary with those guys. Same with Dorrance Armstrong. He's been working off to the side with Britt, just going through those progressions. So this is the perfect opportunity to monitor those injuries in a controlled environment.
So good news there on the injury front. Of course, we are still waiting on an update from Israel Mukuamu, Donovan Wilson. Any update on Trayvon Diggs and his ability getting back into the fold from that toe injury?
Yeah, it sounds like the toe injury isn't something that's going to be too much of a concern for him. Very similar to Dorrance and Sam at this point. You want to make sure that your top cornerback is ready to go when they kick off against the Giants in a few weeks. So he's got a little bit of flexibility with that injury.
Yeah, he probably wasn't going to play a whole lot in the preseason anyways. I think let's wrap him in bubble wrap. He'll be fine. You just extended him to a 5-year, $97 million deal. Let's get Trayvon to week 1. How does that sound? I like it a lot. When we come back, though, how does it sound with Isaiah Stanback joining the show? We're going to talk about the offensive line. Lots of reps for younger players up front. Anybody standing out here in Oxnard?
Inside Cowboys Training Camp, presented by Ford, is brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.
Go Cowboys! Great estimations.
Interesting piece. Let me bring in my expert.
So many scratches.
Those are from my car keys.
Such a rich history. This won't do well at auction, but at AT&T, it's worth a brand new Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5.
Wait, really?
What about this?
AT&T's deal is back.
Wow.
Pre-order a free Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5 with the Galaxy Phone trade-in. Any year, any condition.
Below the Earth's surface, miracles of nature await discovery. Breathtaking beauty crafted by pressure and divine geometry. Emeralds, rubies, diamonds. And now, thanks to the Texas Lottery, it's easier than ever to uncover unimaginable riches. Play Gem 7 scratch tickets today, and you could start your own gem collection.
America, come along with our adventure seekers, the Sanchez family, and discover summer with the Ford F-150. See how available features like Pro Trailer Backup Assist make backing up as easy as turning a knob. Watch as Pro Power on board lights up the night. And Ford Blue Cruise makes driving even more fun.
Now cruising.
Get 3.9 financing for 60 months plus $1,750 bonus cash on F-150 or F-150 Lightning. See your best in Texas Ford dealer. Ford, the official vehicle of the Dallas Cowboys.
This segment is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, I think I've done a really nice job because, obviously we got some moving parts, and our numbers aren't, we're not full there. So I do like the flexibility, of some of the young guys that are playing. Tyron will do individual only, so which means there'll be some more opportunities for the young guys in the team periods. So, and this is, to me, is a big part of why we're here. I mean, we got to find out about these guys, and no one needs the full speed team reps more than our young players.
Mike McCarthy brought to you by Sleep Number, talking about this offensive line. Lots of youth up front, especially with the depth on the offensive line behind Tyron Smith, who, like he said, is getting a bit of a day off, a half day off today, working with individual drills. Back here with Isaiah Stanback, we've got Haley Sutton as always. I'm Kyle Yeomans. And Isaiah, I want to ask about the depth up front. Pads have been on for 2 practices now. Anything stick out to you in how things are going to change for this offensive line?
I think not so much, Kyle. I mean, I just think they're rolling a lot of guys in right now. The guys that didn't get a lot of reps last year, you think about guys like Ball, well, let's go. Those guys are getting very instrumental reps right now. And obviously, the preseason is going to be very important for those guys going forward.
Isaiah, we talked about the defensive line depth that Mike McCarthy is spoiled with going into this season, and I had a chance to catch up with Coach Floyd yesterday about Mazi Smith, and one of the things he talked about is that Mazi has all the ingredients. It's just about fine-tuning and getting him ready to be in NFL shape. What have you seen out of Mazi, and what does he need to do to get to those expectations?
I think Mazi just needs to continue to get those reps, to your point. I mean, obviously, he's a young gun. He's a big fella. He has one job, and that's good for him because he can come in here and literally just focus on that. They don't need him to be a pass rusher. Dan Quinn's made it very clear. We brought him in here to play in the A gap. So go in here, fill some gaps, let other guys roam around you and make some plays, and you'll have a heck of a time here with Dallas.
In order to combat Mazi Smith, you're going to have to get the ball out quick, which is what the West Coast offense is, and that's what Mike McCarthy's trying to install here in Dallas. How does that change things for the offensive line if they're going to block a guy like Mazi, whether he has the pass rush ability or not?
Yeah, you take an offensive line that was pretty doggone effective last year in terms of not allowing people in the backfield, and obviously you give them the advantage. Now defensive lines are not going to have the time to necessarily get back there. You're actually going to discourage teams from trying to have a pass rush, from trying to blitz you, because they're going to be quick sets, right? So offensive line is going to be 3 steps for Dak Prescott when he's in the gun. It's going to be catch and throw majority of the time. A lot of intermediate 5 to 7 yard routes. So the offensive line literally just takes one kick step, sets and punches the guy in the chest instead of having to drop back and really open up that space to isolate them on an island.
We've talked a lot about the offense. We've talked a lot about the defense. But one area we really haven't touched on is special teams. So when you look at all of the riches, as I just mentioned, in terms of all these positions, how does that help the special teams in regards to, developing that area?
I think the special teams are going to be very instrumental, but the offense is going to help them tremendously because you start talking about time of possession, you start talking about where you're at in the field in terms of where they actually have to, punt the ball or kick a field goal from. I think there's going to be a lot more 3-point opportunities this year because they're going to be a lot more consistent in terms of moving the chains.
So, speaking with special teams, I mean, you played special teams, played a little bit of quarterback, you played a lot of wide receiver. I mean, tight end.
Anything
you did
else?
play tight end. You did actually
Yeah.
play tight end at Jacksonville. But with that all being said, I mean, has anybody stuck out from a skills position standpoint? Because Simi Fehoko has made a living the last couple years on special teams. Anybody that these young wide receivers that have stuck out that can maybe fill that role?
Yeah, I know you're hearing the name Jalen Tolbert a lot right now, but I like another gentleman is Brooks. The receiver Brooks, he's just doing a heck of a job. He really stuck out to me, not only with his release, but his physicality at the point of the catch. I think that if he continues to improve on that and obviously has some big plays in the preseason, he might find his way on the bottom of the roster, if not on the practice squad.
And Mike talked about him a little bit today. Jalen Brooks, one Jalen to another.
Yeah,
Jalen Tolbert to Jalen Brooks. I mean, he's been impressive in what he's brought to the table.
I agree. I've been so high on Jalen Brooks ever since he was drafted. I got to talk to him when we first brought him in for rookie minicamp. He's got all the ingredients. He's got the potential, so I'm excited to see him fine-tune that a little bit.
7th round pick. Fine-tuning is a great way to put it because you got to refine the body. He's got the length. He's got the size. You got to fit into it and make some plays. He's certainly making plays out here in Oxnard. Isaiah Stanback joining us. Of course, you can catch Isaiah on all 3 preseason games starting against Jacksonville on Saturday, August 12th. He'll be in the booth for every single one of the TV broadcasts. Excited for that. But when we come back here on Inside Cowboys Training Camp, the kicking competition is underway. Who has the early edge in Oxnard to put the ball through the uprights?
This segment was brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys.
Go Cowboys!
There you go, left, right, left.
He's up. Good job.
Yeah, there we go.
From game one to the biggest game of the season, what matters most is having fun every yard of the way. Be back to sport for less at Academy Sports and Outdoors, and have fun out there.
Interesting piece. Let me bring in my expert.
So many scratches.
Those are from my car keys.
Such a rich history. This won't do well at auction, but at AT&T, it's worth a brand new Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5.
Wait, really?
What about this?
AT&T's deal is back.
Wow.
Pre-order a free Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5 with the Galaxy phone trade-in. In a year, any condition.
Below the Earth's surface, miracles of nature await discovery. Breathtaking beauty crafted by pressure and divine geometry. Emeralds, rubies, diamonds. And now, thanks to the Texas Lottery, it's easier than ever to uncover unimaginable riches. Play Gem 7 scratch tickets today, and you could start your own gem collection.
America, come along with our adventure seekers, the Sanchez family, and discover summer with the Ford F-150. See how available features like Pro Trailer Backup Assist make backing up as easy as turning a knob. Watch as Pro Power on board lights up the night. And Ford Blue Cruise makes driving even more fun.
Now cruising.
Get 3.9 financing for 60 months plus $1,750 bonus cash on F-150 or F-150 Lightning. See your best in Texas Ford dealer. Ford, the official vehicle of the Dallas Cowboys.
Final segment here from Oxnard, California on more Inside Cowboys Training Camp driven by Ford. We've got Haley Sutton. I'm Kyle Yeomans as we wrap things up. And, the kicking competition is just getting started. It began on Monday. John Fossil and company having Tristan Vizcaino, and you also have Brandon Aubrey signed from the USFL just a couple weeks ago. Both of them had a pretty nice day in day one.
Yeah, both of them, I believe, went 5 of 7 in the warm-up period before then going 3 of 3 in the secondary period for kicking. But this has kind of become a staple for Cowboys training camp, I feel like, bringing in kickers who are going to push one another. And especially after the precedent that Maher set last season, regardless of how it ended, it's a super important position. You've got to have someone come in clutch moments and be able to bank those field goals when it matters most. So I love that this has become a big spectacle for fans, and both of them look really good. So I'm glad I don't have to be the one to make that decision.
You mentioned the clutch ability. It was a mojo moment, and all three of them go through the uprights. That was a good sign for Cowboys Nation, especially those that are a little nervous. That does it for us today on Inside Cowboys Training Camp.
Inside Cowboys Training Camp, presented by Ford, was brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.
Go,